Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special review, and this is over Amouage's Overture Man. Amouage's Overture Man was the last perfume that Christopher Chong created as creative director of Amouage, and he really left us with an incredible fragrance. With all Amouage perfumes, it comes in the sleeve, and then this box, which says the Gift of Kings, and then once you open the box, the fragrance is sitting. Fragrance comes out, and Overture Man has one of the most beautiful bottles in all of Amouage's lineup. It has this very gorgeous frosted glass with this gold, heavy gold, and of course magnetic cap, white crystal in the middle, and then this really beautiful colored juice. I've owned Overture Man for a little over a month now, so I'll just do a full wearing, really remind myself of what the opening is. So let's talk about this beautiful fragrance. Overture Man opens up warm, extremely ambery, cinnamony. The most noticeable note that a lot of people can't seem to understand is the cumin note. To be fully transparent, I really enjoy the note of cumin in perfumes, but I can recognize that in general, but especially in Amouage's Overture Man, the cumin note in here mixed with the animalic notes creates a very funky and unconventional smell. The thing about Amouage's Overture Man is, although it's very deep, ambery, dark, and animalic, it's not charred or ashy like Amouage's Interlude 53, which is very smoky, dense, and spicy, which puts people off. And the animalics are nothing like in Amouage's Silver Oud or King Blue, which has an Indian Assam Oud, which is very fecal to some people. The way Amouage's Overture Man acts is more of a sweaty, body odor cumin vibe, which to be honest, I don't entirely get, but there is something funky to this fragrance. Now, it's not off-putting to my nose, it's beautifully blended, but objectively, Overture Man is a little bit of a funky fragrance. Overture Man makes me speechless every single time I spray it. So I will read off the notes that are listed in this fragrance, but I'm going to be honest, I don't like to talk about the notes too much, and I just like to tell everyone what it smells like to me. However, according to the official Amouage box, it opens up with cumin, nutmeg, grapefruit, ginger, and cardamom, followed by benzoin lentisk, I'm not sure how to say that. I think it's like a resin. It also has myrrh, patchouli, and labdanum, and in the base it has leather, frankincense, sage, and sandalwood. Now I do know on sites like Parfumo and Fragrantica it lists animal notes in the base, but because the official Amouage website does not list that, I'm going to say this doesn't have any actual animalic notes, and the thing that's making it animalic is the cumin. Overture Man opens very ambery, deep, spicy, and resinous. This is not a fresh spicy fragrance. Typically when you think of spices, you're thinking of cooking spices like the oregano in the interludes, but Overture is nothing like that. The cumin, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, which I'm not sure if it's listed, but all of these notes coming together gives Overture Man a very autumnal, warm, and cozy atmosphere. The current creative director of Amouage has been releasing more fragrances one at a time, but all Amouage perfumes used to come out in a man and in a woman's version. They would each have their own special DNA, and in the overtures, the special DNA is a boozy note. And to me, although I don't think this is listed, there's a very prominent rum note. The rum is smooth and it's not sharp. It doesn't sting the nose like actual alcohol does. To someone who has never smelled it, the best way I can describe Amouage's Overture Man is if you take the highest quality top shelf rum and you pour it into a glass. The bottom of that glass has cumin and nutmeg and ginger, all of these deep and warm enveloping spices. So imagine all of these spices in this gorgeous rum, and then add a Dr. Pepper note, which is a little bit zingy, but it's sweet and a little bit creamy. And combine all of that with an old leather chair, some creamy sandalwood, and a fresh stick of incense burning off in the distance. I think that is a really good description of how Overture Man smells to someone who hasn't smelled it. I think that anyone who enjoys the scent profile of any of the interludes will enjoy Overture Man, because although they don't smell similar in terms of their scent profile, both Overture Man and the interludes are deep, warm, rich, ambery, and very spicy, although clearly in their own DNAs. If you know me, or if you've seen any of my videos, whether on YouTube or on TikTok, you know that I adore the House of Amouage. I think there's no better brand, and I don't think there ever will be a better brand of perfume. So if you know me, you know I have dozens of Amouage perfumes, and I'm hoping to get every single Amouage that they have to offer. And yet, out of every Amouage that I have, which I all think are pretty much 10 out of 10s, Amouage's Overture Man is one that every time I wear it, it absolutely wows me. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that Ronald Salmon, who's the current creative director of Amouage, has put out some incredible things. But when I smell Amouage perfumes like Overture Man, this makes me miss the old Amouage. One thing people dislike about this fragrance is that the DNA is polarizing, and on top of that, this is an extremely powerful perfume. It lasts 12 to 15 hours on my skin, projects very loudly, and that cumin funk is just a bit much for a lot of people. It's not something like Creed Aventus where you can just spray on a couple sprays and not worry about anything. Despite Overture's limited wearability, I don't think it's unwearable in any sense. I would give this about a 6 out of 10 on the wearability scale, and I know that doesn't seem very high, but for the House of Amouage, it's relatively wearable. I would say that Overture Man has a similar wearability level as Amouage's Search. What I mean by this is that although these are both very polarizing to a lot of people, they both do have notes that the general public likes. So for example, Search has a zesty and bright citrus that smells absolutely phenomenal in the air. But up close, the cade oil in this makes it very smoky and ashy and almost cigarette-like, which a lot of people can't stand. Similarly, in Amouage's Overture Man, the warm spices in the sweet sugary amber is irresistible. But that cumin funk is a little bit much for a lot of people. But if you can comfortably wear Search, then you can comfortably wear Overture Man, and I think these are both roughly a 6 or 7 out of 10 in terms of wearability. Before I give my final scores and final ratings for Amouage Overture Man, I do want to note that the perfumer for Overture Man, her name is Corinne Vinchon-Spinner. She is an outstanding perfumer. She's done a lot of perfumes in general, but she's done a decent amount for Amouage. For anyone watching this video that has tried Overture Man and thinks it's a little bit much, if you want something in a slightly similar DNA, although they're not actually very similar, Vinchon-Spinner also perfumed Boundless by the House of Amouage, and these were both released at a very similar time. I think this was 2019, I think this was 2020. Boundless shares a lot of similar deep, warm, ambery resins and warm spices as Overture Man, but does not have that funk. I'm getting kind of sidetracked, so let me get back to Overture Man. As a quick recap, it opens very sugary, warm, ambery, and enveloping, strong, slightly animalic, and overly spicy. It transitions into the best amber I've ever smelled in any fragrance, period. The amber in Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir seems like a cheap Arabian dupe compared to the amber in Amouage's Overture Man. Once you're deep into the dry down of Overture Man, the leather and the frankincense begin to emerge a little bit more and shine a lot stronger than they did in the opening and in the mid. So as my final review, I would give this a personal rating of 9.9 out of 10. Now I would love to give it a 10 out of 10, but I don't think anything can really get a 10 out of 10. I think the wearability is sitting in that 6 to 6.5 out of 10 range. Although this is not as funky or bio-like as a lot of people make it seem to be. The last thing I want to say is if you enjoy scent profiles like Amouage's Overture Man that are deep, ambery, sugary, rich, and animalic, 3 other good fragrances to sample is Mancera's Intense Red Tobacco. Not the original, the Intense has some more animalics and it's more smooth and polished out. Definitely check out Nishane's Africa Olifant as well. This is warm, ambery, but it's more animalic and less mass appealing than Amouage's Overture Man. And for me, Zoologist Camel is a gorgeous alternative to Amouage's Overture Man. Now, they don't smell anything alike, but they are both deep, rich, animalic, ambery, sweet, warm, and a little bit challenging. And like I said before, if you enjoy the scent profile but don't want the animalics, then you can go for something like Boundless. Same brand, same perfumer, so you really can't go wrong. But yeah, that's my review on Amouage's Overture Man. Overture Man is definitely in the top 3 fragrances that Amouage has put out in the last 7 or 8 years. Although it's rated relatively well, it's one of the more slept on Amouages that I don't hear anyone talk about. Thank you for watching. I have dozens of more Amouage reviews that I have to do, so please stay tuned, like and subscribe if you like content like this, and I'll see you later.